Shadow of my childhood. Hosyok, 23 July, year 10. It all happened when I counted to 4. I was counting some fruit, maybe tomatoes or melons. I'm not sure. 4. As soon as I said it, a vision from my childhood appeared before my eyes. I was holding hands with someone. It was the day I first went to an amusement park with Mom. I was mesmerized by the colorful flags and rows of shops. People dressed like clowns waved at me, and exciting music reverberated in every corner. Mom stopped in front of a merry-go-round. White horses were going round and round under sparkling lights. I was about to ask, "Mom, are we here to ride this?" when someone called me, "Hosyok." I looked up. It was my teacher. My classmates were all looking at me with bewildered eyes. The vision from my childhood disappeared. My teacher urged me to continue, and I began counting again. 5, 6. Mom appeared before my eyes again. She looked exactly the same as a minute ago. Her face was shaded as she was standing in front of the light, and a breeze fanned her hair. Mom handed me a chocolate bar. "Hosyok, close your eyes tight and don't open them until you count to 10. 7, 8, 9. I stopped there. My teacher made a gesture signaling me to go on. My classmates stared at me again. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. Mom's face blurred. It felt as if she would never come looking me if I finished counting to 10. I fell to the ground. Taeyong, 29 December, year 10. I flung off my shoes, hurled my bag on the floor, and ran into the room. Dad was really home. I had no time to think how long he had been gone and where he was coming from. I just threw myself into his arms. It became all blurry from that point. I wasn't sure whether I smelled liquor on his breath first, heard him cursing first, or got slapped on my face first. I didn't know what was happening. His alcohol breath was repulsive, and his breathing was hard. His eyes were bloodshot. He had a scruffy beard. A massive hand slapped my face. "What are you looking at?" He slapped me again. Dad grabbed me by my shoulders and picked me up. I was almost face to face with him, bloodshot eyes and scruffy beard. He wasn't my dad. Well, he was, but he wasn't. My feet dangled in the air. I was so frightened that I couldn't even cry. The next moment, my head hit the wall hard and I crumpled to the floor. It felt as if my head had cracked. I could hardly see straight. It became pitch black. Jimin, 6 April, year 11. I went out the front gate of the grass flower arboretum alone. The sky was cloudy and it was a little chilly. But I was feeling good. It was school picnic day, and as usual, my parents were too busy to make it. This brought me down, but I received high evaluations in the flower drawing contest, and my friends' mothers all told me, "You are so mature and gentle." I thought I was pretty cool. "Jimin, wait here. It'll just be a minute," my teacher said after the picnic was over and we got ready to leave the arboretum. I didn't wait. I knew I could find the way on my own. I held on to the straps of my backpack with both hands and took confident steps. Everyone seemed to be staring at me, so I kept my shoulders back. After walking for a while, it began to rain. My classmates and their mothers had all left, and no one paid attention to me. My legs hurt. I crouched under a tree. The rain began to pour down more and more heavily. I stretched my neck to check if anyone was coming from either side, but no one was around. I began to run, holding my backpack over my head with both hands. The rain kept falling harder and harder. My pants got soaked in the rain after only a few steps. No shop, house, or bus stop came into sight. In the far distance, I could see a gate. I ran towards it without thinking. My hands felt numb from gripping the backpack. I was soaking, wet, and my teeth were chattering. On top of the gate was a sign that read, Grass Flower Arboretum. It was the back gate. There was a small warehouse just inside the gate. Stockton, 21st July, Year 12. The entrance door kept opening and closing. I kept staring at it, sitting in the airport waiting room. People with suitcases passed by, some wearing sunglasses. The electronic display board continued to change with arrivals, delays, and cancellations. The driver was murmuring with his eyes fixed on his cell phone. No word from him yet. I looked down at my watch. It was more than an hour past the time Dad promised he'd arrive. As long as I could remember, I was always by myself. Dad was busy and Mom was indifferent. They told me to do what I was told and not try anything else. When I disobeyed, they scolded me with silence. I wanted to please my parents. Mom died not so long ago. Dad told me not to try and didn't try himself. I tried to obey him, but it wasn't easy. He decided to send me to my maternal grandmother's in the US. He didn't seem very sad about it. Dad's driver handed me my passport. It was time to leave. I looked back as I headed for the departure gate. The entrance door closed. The driver waved at me. The airplane finally began to speed down the runway. Dad didn't come. I looked out the tiny window by my seat. Clouds passed by and the sky turned pitch black. The flight attendant brought me a meal and the juice cup fell when we hit turbulence. Flustered, I asked for some napkins. The flight attendant asked me if I was okay. My fried rice and meat were soaked in juice. My hands were sticky and my pants were all wet. No, I whispered back, but the flight attendant didn't seem to hear. She said not to worry as she took away my tray. I nodded and kept looking down at the floor. Namjoon, 21 June, Year 16. I darted down the stairs from the 13th floor. I was out of breath and my legs were trembling. I collapsed in the shadow of the entrance to the apartment building. I started late today because school got out later than usual. I had to go full speed to post the flyers in all 4 apartment buildings by the deadline. If I didn't, my boss would be waiting for me with a long lecture. I had laboriously coaxed him into hiring a middle school student. Surely, I couldn't let myself get fired at this point. Mom quit her job at the restaurant last week. We had to pay for the doctor's bills for Dad, not to mention the overdue electricity and gas. I kept nodding off in the shadow. There were kids playing basketball in the far distance. I got up again. Time to run, I recited to myself. I must do it. I can do it. Yoongi, 19 September, Year 16. Flames were devouring my house. Just this morning it was whole and intact, but now it was aflame. People who recognized me ran towards me, shouting unintelligible words. The neighbors stamped their feet, looking nervous. The fire truck couldn't get to my house because the excess way was blocked. I stood there, frozen. It was the end of summer and the first days of fall. The sky was blue and the air was crisp. I didn't know what to think, what to feel, or what to do. Suddenly, I thought of Mom. At that very moment, my house collapsed with a thundering crash. It was completely enveloped in flames, or rather, it was a giant flame itself. The roof, pillars, walls in my room tumbled down one by one, as if they were made of sand. All I could do was gaze at them with vacant eyes. People barged past me. I heard them saying the fire truck finally got through. Someone grabbed me by the shoulder and asked urgently, "Is someone in there?" I just stared blankly at her. "Is your mom in there?" She shook me hard by the shoulder. "No, there is no one." I heard myself saying it. "What do you mean?" It was one of the ladies from my neighborhood. "What happened to your mom? Where is she?" "There is no one." I wasn't sure what I was saying. Someone barged past me again. Jungkook, 11 September, year 17. I waited for 10 days, but the birthday card never came. I opened the bottom drawer and lifted a notebook to find 4 cards. Jungkook, happy birthday from Dad. I read these 5 words over and over again. It was winter and I was 7 years old. The voices from the living room woke me up. My room was in the attic and I could reach my parents' room by going down 5 stairs and opening the sliding door. I reached out to open the door and stopped. Although I was still young, I could sense from the heavy atmosphere seeping through the door that this wasn't a good time. Dad said that it was too difficult to go on and that the world was too heavy for him to bear. Mom didn't reply. She was probably crying silently or not moving at all. A long silence ensued. Dad said he'd be crushed if he went on living like this and he should leave now. Mom vehemently protested, calling him the most irresponsible man. Then I heard my name. "What are you going to do about Jungkook?" I waited for a long time behind the sliding door, but Dad didn't answer. Then I heard the sound of the front door opening. "I'm completely empty, and there's nothing I can do for Jungkook." Those were my dad's last words. I ran back up the stairs to the attic. I moved my chair against the wall right under the window and stood on it. Dad was walking down the sloping road. First his legs disappeared, then his waist, chest, and shoulders. It seemed as if an unknown world beyond the road was slowly swallowing him whole. Someone jerked the door of my room open, and I instinctively pushed the drawer with my foot. It was Mom. She said, "No birthday card will ever come," and Dad was just that kind of person. It was her usual repertoire. Dad was feeble-minded, incompetent, and most importantly, a social misfit who deserted us. Mom was right. No birthday card will ever come. I was the world that was too heavy for him to bear. That world that he gave up on. A child who can never be the reason to endure it all. That was me.